welcome back to another episode of Behind the Bill. Today we have Alex. He is a golfer, a seafood exporter, and a good friend of mine. So in this episode, we'll be sharing with you his experiences here in Singapore as an expat. And he's having the best time of his life. Right?
Let's go.
So Alex, you are living the dream of dreams. You're an expat in Singapore.
Yeah.
Oh man. Maybe you can tell our audience, what are you doing in Singapore?
Yeah, sure. I came to Singapore last September.
Yeah.
For my company, the company I work for, which is Fisher Seafood. And our CEO has the view of expanding into more markets. So we're big in Europe and in the US mainly. We're a company from Netherlands and Norway. And with Asia being the grow market, the middle class increasing, we have the view that there is a shift of consumer habits. And you have to be in this market in Asia. The shift is from west to east. So that's why I moved here to Asia. And being Singapore really developed, of course, English is the first language. A lot of international companies here, a lot of expats. It's safe, it's clean, and the rules are quite clear. I think this place is, ideal to start up and expand from here into Asia.
But I think you will feel the same way that of all the Asian markets, Singapore is it's like a little P in everything, you know?
Yeah, true.
Right?
Yeah.
So I can assume you're here as like to set up a HQ in Southeast Asia, right? Yeah. So where do you see your biggest market in Southeast Asia?
Our biggest market we see, especially if you look at the numbers, that is mainly China. China is the third biggest consumption market for Norwegian salmon at this moment.
And the bigger two?
The bigger two are usually Poland, where a lot of salmon is being used and filleted for smoked salmon. And the US is also a very big market. But China in Asia itself is the biggest market. Of course, also because of the amount of people living there, but again, also because of the increasing middle class and people can spend more. So they are willing to spend more on seafood, which is usually an expensive product compared to chicken or other kind of meats. And with this increasing, expenditure of those people, we believe those markets are interesting for salmon and our seafood products.
So anything south of Asia, that is Southeast Asia, right? So where do you foresee the up and coming markets for Southeast Asia?
Yeah, so the upcoming markets are more towards the markets that still have to develop. More towards where China is at this moment, for example. And then we're looking more towards Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, which are markets which are still not developed as much as other countries in Asia, but have the potential to grow towards there.
So you've done a lot of international expos recently. Can you share more about these experiences? What is fun and do you have weird requests? Just tell us about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So when I came here, of course, it's a completely new world. You have to, I came here alone, without my family, without friends. So you come here all alone. And also business wise, it's a total new market for us. So you really have to pioneer something and you have to learn about the market. You have to do market research. So in the beginning, it was a lot of traveling. Sometimes I came home and in the night and then the next morning, another flight to another country. But from that, you learn a lot, and especially from every conversation, not only business-wise, but also privately, you learn about habits of people. And there are a lot of differences in Asia, right? I mean, Japan is completely different compared to China, or Korea is completely different compared to Singapore. So there's so many differences, and you have to understand them, you have to learn them. And I think you can only learn them by being there and not really behind your computer, researching a lot. You really have to talk to people in the business, but also outside of the business. So with people in a bar, for example, or maybe via sport, there you can learn about their views about the seafood market, but also other concepts that has to do with our business, such as logistics or sales, or marketing, or anything that has to do with that. And I believe with, learning that now, I've always almost been here now for 1 year, then you can put some focus on certain markets, certain aspects. And you can also, say, okay, we're not focusing here. And that helps as well into your focus into other aspects or markets. So now, with all this experience, you try to take your business to your next level, try to find something that you want to develop here. And that means that we are looking into partnerships locally, but it takes time. And that is Asia, I think. It's relationship based. It's not like, next month you can do a business or a deal with someone, which is nice, but can be very challenging, can be very time consuming, annoying sometimes. But once you are in and once you understand the needs of the people here, I think then you can grow in the long run. And that's why we are here for. We're not just for the short term, just to sell our seafood and that's it. And not look into the future. No, our company really has like a long-term plan to be in the markets. Can be different by market, but you have to understand them first before you can really invest in it. Yeah.
So one thing I admire about you, you took the courageous leap from one part of the world to the other and right smack in Asia. And when I first met you, can you remember what you told me? You're like, I do not want to hang out with other expats. I want to hang out with locals. You know how rare that is. We rarely get expats saying that. Like everyone wants to be in their comfort zone, but you don't. Right?
Yeah. That was the first time I met you. And I didn't know exactly how to meet new people. It's quite a difficult thing, especially at this age. If you were living abroad for a study, you have your other students and you will gather together. That's fine. If you're gonna live together, or if you're gonna live abroad for international company, you have your colleagues.
Yeah.
You will get introduced with them. They will introduce you to new friends, maybe all these kind of things. But I came here completely alone. Our headquarters is in Netherlands and in Norway. So I don't have colleagues here. I also don't have, I didn't have any friends here yet. So the first thing you do, right, is you find
community.
Yeah, community. Yeah. So you try to find the Dutch community.
That's right.
The expats, which I still have. I'm friends with some Dutch expats here and have some good connections. But you never really, I don't know, I didn't find the real connection because most of them are here for a contract of 1 year or 2 years. Some of them maybe do a little bit what I do. But they are also in different phases of life sometimes.
What do they complain about? There's something I'm so curious.
They don't complain.
Really?
Everybody is really happy to be here in Singapore as an expat because the community is amazing. I mean, for Dutch people to live here, in my opinion, is really nice because you have Dutch schools. So your kids can go to the school. And after 2 years, they can just go back to Netherlands and have exactly the same education as here. You have a big community, of course, of Dutch people and all other internationals as well. The Chamber of Commerce organizes a lot of events, so that is really nice.
It's the Dutch Singapore Chamber of Commerce.
No, Dutch Chamber of Commerce.
Just Dutch Chamber of
Yeah,
Commerce.
this Chamber of Commerce, and there are a lot of big Dutch companies here, of course. There and other international companies that organize a lot of events, so you can meet them. But for me, that was not the way to understand people and maybe also your network. I found it, maybe better to find locals and learn local. Yeah, they take me to local places. It's not only the tourist spots or like
I
that.
think you have explored out of just local. You have been to Malaysia a few times, just across the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you get, when you're willing to, when you open up your mind, that's where you start to discover new things that you never thought you would.
Yeah.
And I believe the experience you had, an average expat will never be able to experience it that way.
Yeah.
Right? Especially since you have friends who act as your guide and then they bring you around, then they teach you, hey, the culture here is like this, the culture here is like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you have, of course. I don't say that all the expats don't do that, because I know a lot of other expats as well who go more with locals than others. But it tends to be the easy way, of course, to go to your own community, which is for me the Dutch community, but it can be any community for any international expat. Go to these events. People are very open because they have been in your same position. They also have, need to go abroad and go settle somewhere. So they're very open. That is, in my opinion, an easy way to get to know people and, and settle a little bit. But I found that, especially since I'm I consider myself maybe a young expat.
Very young.
I don't have a family.
Yeah, you didn't even bring a family here.
Or
oh shit.
Or kids or anything. So most of the expats are a little bit older or more experienced in life, because you are not getting sent by a big international company here if you only have a couple years of experience, because Singapore is high in demand for expats, right? People want to go here because of the good conditions.
Here. We want expats here. That's the thing.
And you want to have expats, which is also nice of Singapore. So yeah, what you find a lot is the expats who have children, who have a family, which is fine. But for me, as a single guy, start to settle in, I found it more easier to maybe find local friends. But how are you finding those local friends?
One local friend will introduce you to another. Right?
To another, but how to find that one local friend? So in the start, then you go to the site Meetup and you search for some events there, or you go to church, you try to find other kind of people, but it's hard to find people with the same interests. So what is better than start with one interest that you all have in common? And that was for me golf. Because via sport, I think it's really nice to get new friends, but also work on your network, like for business wise and privately. And that's how I met you, actually, via golf. And then, and then it's all started.
Okay, so what's the biggest cultural shift that you see between the Western world and Asia? And are all the golf communities the same? Like, do people behave the same, or is there differing in culture? Is it more serious in golf over there, or is it more serious here? Maybe you can tell us more what the biggest differences you can find.
Yeah, I think in golf there are not that much of differences, but in personality and also doing business, there's a lot of differences, which are not bad or good or anything, but Dutch people are generally more direct. They say what they think. They want to do fast business. While here it's really not direct. They don't really say what they want. You need a lot of time to invest, a lot of patience. So there you see a lot of differences, and yeah, the people in general. I mean, we all in the Western world, we all talk about the Asian hospitality. You know, if you go on holiday to Thailand or Indonesia, all very.
What kind of Asian hospitality are you talking about?
The nice hospitality in the hotels, the restaurants, and maybe some other places as well. But that we see in Asia, that's Asia known for, right? So here as well, I felt really welcomed by most Singaporeans. And they really want to know your story as well. So that is really nice. Whereas in Netherlands now and in Europe, it's quite a lot of complaining, in my opinion, about the weather or about this or about politics.
Oh, wait, so
or
that's the
anything.
small talk that they do is about these things. They
Yeah.
complain about things. Ah.
And here the small talk is more everybody is, of course, it's always the same weather here.
Yeah.
The people are always outside eating at the hawker centers or just having a drink, having a beer, a little bit more relaxed, in my opinion. But of course, I also miss a lot of things of Dutch people, which is the directness can also be a good thing sometimes. Because here it's also for the business. Sometimes it's unclear what people want. They don't answer you, or they don't give an answer.
I think people here have too many interests involved. So a deal is not necessarily straightforward, a plus minus kind of deal. And they have to think about, hey, if I close this deal, what is my position in the company, for example?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how would my boss would look at me? How would my team look at me? Is this beneficial or not? Then it becomes so complex because it's not just a numbers thing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But somehow do feel that is a bit more on the over worrying side.
Yeah.
Right? Just stick to your goal and what you got to do. And these things, more often than not, nobody cares about it as much as you do. That's why I do believe, even though we have the nice relationship way of dealing with business, I do also want to see more directness.
Yeah, because do you get in your business a lot of no's, like direct no's? Because yeah, in Europe sometimes they can say just no, I'm fine with my current supplier.
Yeah.
Don't call me again.
Yeah.
But here,
Like, oh yeah, we will figure it out. Let me come back to you.
Exactly, like that. It's Oh, let's discuss one more time, or like this.
You ask my wife.
I have to double check it 500 times. Yeah, that can be sometimes annoying.
But the funny thing is, some of them do call back months later.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Because I think if you are pitching and you don't look like the rest of us Asians, they will definitely remember you. And that's the edge you have over the rest of us.
Yeah, that might be the thing. But there are a lot of, of course, people like me or other competitors who do the same. But once you're in my opinion, in the business, in a relation with a customer, then they will also not leave you
too easily
that fast, or drop you.
So you will understand why they have problems bringing you in, because that's our culture, right? We like long-term stuff.
Yeah.
So unless our current guy like screws up in a very disastrous way, if not, we wouldn't be considering, because of course loyalty first, right?
And I really appreciate that, and appreciate that, and also we think that's a good thing. So we are always say to our like potential customers or the people we talk to at expos or in a meeting or wherever, that we will be there whenever you need us, right? Whenever you're ready, when they want to add on a different product, for example, and want to use us, or if they're not happy with their current supplier, or their current supplier can't deliver them anymore because for any reason, then we are there for them to contact us and we can help. That's where we can offer our flexibility and we are not a big corporate where it's all paperwork and where it takes a month before you can do business with us. No, we are quite fast, family owned. So the lines are really short. Everybody at our HQ in Netherlands are working together, and you can just walk towards your the finance team or towards the HR team or towards the sales team. So then you can immediately like start when something, has to start.
So one of the ways I figured this worked out, right, is when I'm trying to prospect someone, and I tell them, just call me anytime, middle of the night, I will pick up.
Yeah.
I might get into trouble, but I'll pick it up still. You want me to bring you out for food? I can bring you out. I'll introduce you to the nice places. And then that's where they feel, this guy is more human than just, calling him for work. So I realized it's just like one statement or one sentence like this is more than enough to build that kind of closeness.
Exactly. Just be available. That's the key, I think. However, what you see a lot is they have to then check it with their supervisor. That's really an Asian thing, right? To check it with the leader, check it with their manager, check it again, what we talked about before. So that can sometimes struggle a little bit in doing business.
Probably means you need to go straight to the decision maker.
Yeah, that is the ideal thing, of course.
Yeah, we have to be able to filter that out quite quickly. Yeah. Have you ever mixed up Asian cultures, like you do some Japanese thing to a Chinese guy, or you do some Thai thing to a Vietnamese, or
yeah, sure.
Okay, tell us about it.
No, yeah, I mean, when I go to Japan for some days, for example, I bow to everybody, and then when I come back to Singapore, I also start to bow to everybody. So you have to, you take things from other, countries to another country. But in the start, I read about it, and I watched some videos, because
cultural appropriation.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you need to, right? I mean, giving your business cards with two hands instead of with one hand. So there are some things that you have to take into account. Also, for example, gifting in China with the numbers. You have to take into account which numbers are unlucky or which numbers are lucky. You have to think about a lot of such things, but they will appreciate that. The people you visit, they will appreciate if you learn about their culture, about their, how to greet them.
In fact, you don't even have to get it right. As long as we know that,
true.
Yeah, you did your research and then you're just trying, and it's good enough for us. You can even wear the cultural outfit wrongly and they'll still be okay and like,
So they will appreciate the attempt you do. So that is indeed fine, but you always try to,
not like elsewhere in the world, if you try something on, they'll be like, hey, you are being very insensitive and all that nonsense, right?
No, then it doesn't, sometimes they don't care.
Asians especially, we do not care at all. Like if you look good in it, even better, right? We'll be like, please wear it more often.
Yeah, I think you just have to be open for all the differences, and then if you adopt them correctly, then it's fine.
So we talk about Fisher, right? You guys own the farms, right?
No, we don't have our own farms. In Norway, we have one farm in Scotland, which is organic salmon. There we have, there we farm some of the salmon, but we mainly buy from farms in Norway directly. Yeah.
Why is it better than other salmons? Look, I've always been wanting to ask that question because I have no clue. It's delicious. That's all I know.
Yeah. No, so salmon is quite regional. Not like, for example, tuna is widely fished everywhere around the world. But so salmon is, especially Atlantic salmon, is farmed mostly in Norway. That's the number one produced country. Then you have the countries around Norway, which are Scotland, Faroe Islands, Iceland, Ireland. So there you also have some farms. And then in Chile, South America, you have a very nice coastline where the conditions are ideal to have salmon farms, which are similar to Norway or that region. And then you have Tasmanian, which you might see also here in the markets because it's close by. But people always have they always believe that salmon is from Japan. Right? Because of the sashimi, the sushi, the Japanese restaurants. But actually, they don't farm salmon in
So
Japan.
the Japanese are successful at sashimi marketing.
Yeah,
Everyone thinks salmon belongs to them.
Yeah, so
gosh.
40 years ago, some Norwegians, they went to Japan to introduce salmon for the sushi market. And they succeeded, of course, because nowadays it's really popular. And that's, grown, the marketing for salmon has grown immensely, like especially the last 10 years. It has grown a lot. And people sometimes don't realize that, where the salmon is farmed from. But the differences may be that Norwegian salmon is, people say the highest quality, since there are no antibiotics used. It's really strict rules on the feed they get, the care they get, everything. And
the music they listen to as well.
Maybe the music they listen, how they swim, and how people treat them. But they're better quality compared to, for example, the salmon that is farmed in Chile, which is lower quality. And how can you see that? That's, for example, the rounds on the fish, or the blood spots, or melanin, or kind of details you can see if the fish is better quality or less quality. So Norwegian salmon is generally assumed best, but also more expensive.
So what happens if there's like a bacterial wipeout of all the fish? You know, everyone gets sick. It happens, right?
Yeah, it happens.
And it's natural, right? You can't do anything about it.
No. Yeah, and then most of the salmon, unfortunately, has to be destroyed.
Oh man!
If it's like a bad sickness, if it's only a small illness, something like that, they can still use maybe some antibiotics if allowed, but then it can't be eaten raw anymore, for example. So then it should be used for byproducts, for example, salmon burgers, or all kind of pet food, or all other kind of things. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of creating your own community?
No,
why not?
I think I'm
too
not
much logistics.
That guy to create something, but I'm happy to bring friends together that don't know each other, for example. And I'm really happy to, if there will be one day, to have my friends from Netherlands here, or some friends from here going to Netherlands to meet each other and to hang out together. But to create my own community, personally, no.
I do see that. Oh, sorry. Actually, I have problems, right? When we go out into some community event, and then we have people there who are so quiet, and then just try to get them to vibe along. It's quite tough. Like, they will not be loud, but they do enjoy, and then they do contribute. But I always find a problem getting them to be more comfortable, right? Because at the end of the day, you can be quiet to the rest of the world, but if you're with somebody that you're familiar with, then they start to show the true side of them.
Yeah.
And it's been an uphill battle so far in our community.
I think it's a lot about the right timing and the right place as well. Because how we met, right? I went to this golf event. I didn't know anyone. And if you, for example, if we didn't talk that evening and went for some drinks afterwards, I would maybe not go again to this golf community.
Oh man.
Because
I'm so touched.
I would be like, oh, I didn't know anyone, and the people that they were there were not really my type of people. I didn't talk to anyone or whatever. But now, since I talked to you, or actually I talked to your colleague Edwin first, and he introduced me to you as like, oh, this is my partner. And then I thought you guys were together, actually. like a relationship
Oh my god.
together. Yeah. No, yeah, because in Netherlands, if you say, "Oh, this is my partner," it's like
life partner.
my life partner or my.
Okay.
It's not really like partner in that kind of thing. So that was quite
I would be the top lah.
a fun moment that I saw Edwin, and he introduced me to you.
What do you mean? You have no gaydar? You can't tell if someone has.
No, of course, no, yeah, but I was like, her partner. What do you mean? So then I tried to confirm, like, what do you mean? And then he explained we work together, of course. But at that moment, it's to meet new people and to meet new culture, and like this, such confusion can maybe create a different.
No, you live in a liberal society, that's why.
Yeah, maybe.
Over here, we're not too loud about it, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's. I mean, Netherlands is a very open-minded country, of course, and people can do whatever they want. Here, it's a little bit more closed, and maybe,
How's dating in Asia?
Dating in Asia?
Yeah, what Asian girls?
Difficult sometimes.
Affectionate,
Very
warm.
sticky, maybe. But on the other hand, I also haven't invested a lot of time into that yet. Again, I think that might also be the easy route if I would come here last September, download all the apps, go swiping, maybe find a nice girl and go with her, meet her friends. But what if she then leaves me after some months? I'm still alone. So my thoughts were always to be, get friends which you can build deep relationships with, which is kind of hard. That's what you always hear from other expats, right? That go somewhere abroad, they live there for 2 years and then go back to where they came from, and then they don't have deep relationships, deep connections, because it's hard to make them. But I think you can make
it's not difficult at all, right?
No, I think you can make them. I mean, you have to be open for it, and you have to invest time and maybe also money into the people and travel together and have, of course, same interest in some kind, but also open to learn and open to other opinions. And culture differences between Singaporeans and Dutch people are not that big. I think Singaporeans of all Asians are most Western.
Yeah. more for us.
Yeah, might be, of course, due to the
colonial days,
the UK, and I think also since there are a lot of expats here, that it's a mix and a lot of acceptance. So I find it quite, easier to be friends with locals here, maybe compared to other countries in Asia. Yeah.
But the amount of interests that people have here or hobbies is like very limited. Do you feel?
Yeah, a little bit bored are people sometimes, because
we locals feel bored all the time.
It's a small country and there's maybe not so much to do and not so new things, new experiences, and of course a lot of laws and requirements. So in some ways you cannot, let's say, go crazy, because people will maybe film you or say something about it, or it's not acceptable. Not in a bad way, but sometimes you cannot really express or say a lot. Yeah.
I have come across a situation where I was speaking to this more senior guy, and he said, young men don't have to be too polite. Drop the act, just be yourself. Then I'm like, okay, I'm crude.
Yeah.
I speak loudly. Sometimes vulgarities do turn out. He said, I would enjoy you more that way. Then I'm like, okay.
Oh, that is quite cool.
Yeah.
And what did you talk about with him afterwards?
Not stuff that can, be easily publicized, but yeah, just more crew, like between like a brother.
Yeah.
So that's how we bond, lah, right? Guys?
Yeah, but that is that is the same for me. I mean, usually we expect if we talk to other people that you have to, exactly, that you have to talk on a different kind of level. But some of them, they have that mindset of like, no, just talk with me like your age.
Because we make them feel uncomfortable, actually.
Sometimes, sometimes they also say that. Yeah.
You have had experience like that as well?
Yeah, of course, you encounter some other people, especially in the business and at expos. You will see them, but I always respect their experience as well, because they often have something we can learn from. Actually, they might have been in the seafood business or the food and beverage business for many years. And sometimes it also is a little bit too old thinking, since the markets are rapidly changing, right? Especially in the food and beverage industry, with, for example, the online sales. So they are a little bit behind on that sometimes, but they have that experience of many years, and they bring in a lot of experience. So that's also nice to learn about their point of view.
So when can we expect your TikTok shop then? Live sales.
Yeah, no.
We can get you famous overnight, put on a dress.
No own office or own sales here yet, but again, we're looking into partnerships and how we can be closer to our to the customer. That's really our long-term view of our CEO, that the closer we are to the end consumer, the better. So you want to control the entire chain. And now we are mainly exporting to big wholesalers or big importers, which is fantastic. But if we are able in some markets to work together with local partners, I think we can reach the end consumers better, know their needs, maybe indeed start to sell via this partner on
Have you ever thought
TikTok or live sales or whatever?
Like you selling it yourself? Have you ever thought about it?
No, I think with only our knowledge, I don't think we should go into a market ourselves and try to do things ourselves. I think partnerships are really strong. You have to work with local partners who have the experience of the local market, and can do that. Because if you just go into the market and think like, oh, we're the best, we're going to start something because it works in Europe, now it will work here. I don't think that that's the way to go. I think working together with a local partner, that's what we should focus on. Yeah.
Okay. I got a very personal question for you. What is a type of person that you dislike the most?
Dislike?
Yes. Like mad hate. I will never want to see this person ever again.
I'm actually quite I'm not a hater that much.
I'll go first. I'll go first.
Okay.
So when I have someone coming to me and speaking very loudly, pretending that he's an expert on a lot of things, and then when we start going deep into the topic, and he can't answer correctly. Okay, I wouldn't say correctly, but answer as someone who he advertises himself to be, and that's when I know, let's stop wasting time with this guy. And it irks me a lot, and I don't want to see this guy ever again. These are the kind of people I dislike.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that like they talk about the business, you mean, or private stuff?
It's not like a master at everything.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know those people.
They think they know everything, and then
a lot of crypto.
Oh yeah.
They know political expert, sports expert, sports commentator, everything all in one, and you're like, this guy.
I think it depends how people bring it. You can be an expert on a topic, but if you think you're the best, and for example, if I ask you something and you say something and I'm the expert, so I'm gonna correct you all the time. Yeah, that's annoying. That I don't like either. But if they're experts, but they still listen to you or want to teach you something, maybe that's fine.
Yeah, the people that come and correct you are the ones that have a lot to prove.
Yeah.
So more often than not, they are not
correct.
Yes.
They're not the way of knowledge. Yeah. No, that I agree with. I try to avoid them a little bit as well. And maybe for me personally, the people who don't invest in you are not worth being hanging out around. You know, you have to invest time and money. And money is a big topic here in Singapore. I mean, people love money. People talk about money all the time.
Yeah.
Money is really a thing here. That's bigger than anywhere else, I think. So yeah, if a person is not willing to invest in you, then why you should spend time with them sometimes.
But it's not so, how you say, physically like invest in this person, because I have had mentors that I meet maybe once a month or a few months, and they know that I can't do much for them, and yet they're still willing to have me, still host me and then teach me. So
yeah, but it's not in the way of like investing. Oh, you have to invest in me with cash or invest in me with knowledge or invest in me. It's more like that they are willing to spend time with you, and you are willing to spend time with them. So then they appreciate that and they want to teach you something, right?
I guess generally you can't spend time with everybody. You got to choose, right?
Yeah, that's why you have to choose, and that's why I choose the people who you think are also willing to invest time.
I've also invested time in weird people.
Okay, well,
borderline low EQ. They tend to make a fool of themselves, and everyone is like, "Hey, is this your friend?" I'm like, "Oh, I just knew him." I've been caught with my pants down in many situations like that.
No.
And I have no idea how to explain. I'm like, okay, just, maybe he's out fresh, making friends. Let's just support him, okay?
Yeah, but I think that's good. I mean, you have to give everybody a chance, right?
Yeah, but I find myself explaining that a lot. So I'm like, okay, time to let him swim in the sea by himself.
No, true. No, but coming back to that is like really hate kind of people. I don't really hate.
Such a nice guy.
Maybe that's me. Then you just, I know, maybe you avoid them, If it doesn't feel right, you also don't be with them.
It's like a stain in your memory that you can never get rid of. And every time you think of them, you can smell the foul air. Just comes naturally.
Don't be so much around those people. No, but your customers, do you see a change in requests compared to a couple of years ago? Because nowadays a lot of online sales, so people might physically visit stores less. Do you see that they think about that?
Okay. So in our line of work, right, because the quantums involved is so high and the risk for my client is very high. So we can have 10 people providing the same service, but how do you differentiate yourself? You have to get a meeting and still talk to them, right?
Yeah.
So the physical interaction can never be eradicated totally. They have to like you, like your personality, and vibe with your style and the way you handle conflict, right? So like, for example, if my client comes to you and say, "Hey, I don't like this," then they look at how you react. Like, "No, it's not my fault. It's you." Then they know, hey, this kind of person we don't want to hang around with. Or you get another guy who's like, "Oh, yes, we can solve it for you immediately, but it wasn't originally in the contract, so we probably need to work something out." Just see how diplomatic, how nice you are about things when they are not going too well and very ugly. It's like they look at how you can manage it.
Yeah.
So you can never take away that person-to-person interaction.
No, that's what you need. But if you look at commercial places, right? The commercial places, you build or renovate. Do you see some differences there as well, especially for the F&B then, that people, that they want to showcase their store differently compared to...
We always encourage them, don't look at other people, don't look at other templates. Tell us deeply
what you need.
what is your best product, for example. Would it be ideal if I do a show kitchen for you where you're doing things and customers can take a look at what you're doing? So we develop something more unique for them. That's why you hire a designer in the first place. I'm not like someone who like, hey, you like this, let's do something similar for you. You know, that's just copy and paste. There's no originality behind those things. Yeah. But to be able to deliver something so bespoke, you have to meet the person and understand them deeply. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure how going online can help remove that. Yeah, you can put a checklist, but it's just like a sentence. I don't like this, I like this. You know, it's so generic.
No, I mean, not for you going online, basically, but your customers might sell more online.
Oh, sell more online?
Yeah, they are selling more online. So less in-store sales.
Ah, okay.
Do you see that?
Okay. So a lot of my clients used to do it online, but they couldn't handle the volume, so they wanted a physical space.
Exactly, yeah. Okay.
So the other way around is what works for me. If they're going
so they started online and they want a physical place, but that physical place needs to be more like a pop-up store or to showcase their products, not really for sales.
They showcase their brand, their personality, how the owner interacts with the customers. That's what they truly want, and not just a handwritten card, you know? Maybe when you're doing home-based, sending a card, it's like, hey, it's nice to have a handwritten note. But you have a physical store, you can even hold like little tasting sessions.
That's it,
right? New launch, new flavors. What do you think? Promo, discount, bundle with this. The experience is so much more interactive.
Yeah.
Immersive. And then you can even put up more things for sale.
Okay.
Yeah. So having a physical store, contrary to what a lot of people think, you know, it costs a lot to run this place, to upkeep, but the value that can be provided is a lot more.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still in business.
Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah. But yeah, I also see rent nowadays, of course, quite high, and I see Holland Village. There are a lot of places closing down.
There's Expat Town.
But does that scare you, or do you see different neighborhoods popping up, for example?
There are always people to take up those empty spots. Yeah. There will always be. Because it's like innovate or die, right? And so the new business owner that comes in has already factored in the cost of the rental. Those people who leave couldn't manage the unexpected increase of rental.
Yeah.
The model is stuck. They didn't innovate before it came. No. So the rule of thumb is don't get too comfortable. Always strive to create something different and unique. The moment you stop, your cost is just going to eat you.
Yeah, you have to innovate, renovate, come with new ideas every...
It's either increase your volume, increase your offering, or increase your price. Only three things.
Yeah. Okay.
So I look forward to your salmon factory here.
Yeah.
I already know I'm top of mind.
No. That's not on our to-do list now. But that's the thing why I'm here in the market is to investigate, explore all different options, right? And maybe the option that we do currently, which is just being an exporter and export from Norway and Netherlands, is the correct way. Might be. But in some markets, some of our competitors are also locally in the market because it might work. It might not work. It might work only with partnerships or not with partnerships or what else. But you have to explore that. And as I said earlier, the closer to the customer, in our opinion, that is the better. But to open a physical store with our brand, that is far-searched. That is not our our ID, but it gives a little bit of our mindset that we want to control the entire chain. Yeah.
You can even invent your own recipe and you use your product only for that.
Yeah, I mean,
Something magical.
like seafood is of course it's the brand awareness of seafood in the world is lower, right? You just you eat salmon, that's it, but you don't eat fisher salmon, or that's you don't really say that. If you can create that, then of course
Like the Wagyu of salmon.
you're the
for
best.
example.
Yeah, if you have certain brands of food that people always buy because they trust it. For example, Heinz tomato ketchup, right? It's ketchup. There are a lot of brands, but everybody wants Heinz.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine you have a salmon and everybody wants your brand. That's very strong.
Yeah, but the journey there is the tough one, isn't it?
To get there, and maybe you will never get there, of course,
Yeah.
but it's tough and it's also, again, country specific. So we do have our own brands. We do have our Fisher brand, but also our Farlux brand, which is a more sustainable salmon. And this is actually a brand that is quite popular now in Europe and in the US, where we are expanding into many states and many retailers. So it's a little bit of a premium salmon brand. And there you see that people in Europe and in the US are picking the brand because of the story, because of the name, because they know it's a good quality.
What's the story?
And how it's farmed. Yeah, so the story of Farlux is that it is farmed above the Arctic Circle with only family-owned farms where the salmon has more space to swim. They are then being processed in our factory with very high care, looking at bacterial levels and looking at quality. So there you can provide a premium product. Then of course we also help with the marketing, together with the retailer, for example. So in this case with Farlux, we make a premium brand for salmon, and that works in some key markets. But in Asia, it might not work, or it might work in some countries. So there we are also looking at what are the opportunities.
It works everywhere. Just slap on all these sustainable labels and it sells like hotcakes, right?
Yeah, but in maybe countries that are very price sensitive, right? Vietnam or Indonesia, or people just eat salmon cheap as possible.
They just call it salmon, but they didn't try the other grades of it.
No, they want cheapest as possible because the prices for salmon are low, the margins are low of all the companies in between. So they want the cheap, and just salmon. Whereas maybe in more developed countries, people are picking, brands or different kind of salmon. Mm-hmm. So you have regular salmon, but you also have organic salmon, which is which more expensive, but it is organic. Same as organic chicken or organic beef. So people choose that considering the health and sustainability aspects. So might be that, for salmon, there's also opportunities to promote your brand or go into such direction of having your own branded salmon products.
Are there countries that don't have salmon at all? Ha ha ha.
Nah, so of course, like salmon is a more expensive product, but one of my previous boss always said, salmon goes where people fly. So that is the case of where people go for holiday or business wise, there will be salmon. because they stay in the 5-star hotels, right? They stay in Hilton, they stay in Marriott, they stay everywhere. And those hotels are worldwide. Of course, there's not so much demand for salmon in Africa as a region because the GDPs there are lower. People cannot afford the salmon, or culture differences. They don't eat a lot of seafood. For example, India is vegetarian. So they don't really eat a lot of,
So not very common for them. So places like Mongolia, who has no access to the sea at all, would rarely see seafood.
No, it depends, because salmon, of course, is only sourced in certain parts of the world. So most of the salmon worldwide that is eaten, and here in Singapore, is not farmed in Singapore. So it's all being transported to Singapore. But there are countries which are like next to the ocean, which are more seafood orientated. And some countries which are really in mainland are less seafood orientated, more beef orientated. So there you see the consumption of seafood is less. Yeah.
Did you discover any new markets so far? As in, the country is landlocked, stuck away from the sea, and then like they don't have fish.
No.
Maybe that can be a gold mine over there.
No.
Trade fish for gunpowder, VOC.
Yeah, then we go back to that. But no, that is also not. I don't think that will be a thing for me. It's just we try to go into the main markets where seafood consumption is high, and especially demand for salmon is high. And there we try to sell our products, which are usually fillets or portions. So value added products, we call them. So the products which are ready already, when they arrive, they can be sent directly to a restaurant or a hotel or retail. So it doesn't need any more adjustments like filleting, or you need a chef to cut it or whatever. It's ready to serve products that we deliver. But one of the challenges is, of course, that labor costs here in Asia are lower compared to Europe. And some of the countries also protect their own employment. So they tax those value-added products. They put a tariff on it because they want the countries to have the whole salmon importing so that they can have employment themselves here locally, and increase the processing here. And of course, it might be also more economically better because of the low labor cost. But here you see the changing market, because the middle class is increasing. People don't want to work in a factory nowadays. They go to university. They want to, they get a higher salary. For example, in China. So there you see the demand for value-added products, such as fillets and portions. You see that increasing actually, and that's where we want to be. We want to be in that market, and we want to be ready for that.
Okay, and it's a wrap for this week's session with Alex. If you're an expat, or if you'd like to know more about the seafood business, you can leave a comment in the section below. And if you like content like this, please like, follow, and share. It's all in the description. Thank you.